暗闇から目覚めても僕を待ち受けてる彼方で二人を託したこの街に誰も知らない勇気が降っていた日は僕の胸に刻まれた一番深い傷跡の中で君が笑うこの世界の歌取り戻すよ
Back to my anime reviews. Basically every week I will try to watch or rewatch an anime and then review it for you guys. Like I've said before, anime like Bleach, One Piece, and Fairy Tail and such like that will probably not be reviewed as they would take me way too long to watch the whole thing. Maybe in the future if I decide one day that I'd sit down and watch all of it, but for now it's not gonna happen. Let's get straight to the main point. This week was way too obvious of a choice of what anime I'd be reviewing, as if you follow me on Twitter, I hyped about this anime, and everyone hyped about this anime. It's like everyone knew, and as you can see in the title of the video, is pretty obvious what it is, and I kind of fell into that hype very easily, but not because everyone else was into the hype, was because I found this anime long before the anime was even out, and I decided I was going to watch it ages ago, before it was even out. So, I mean, kind of a hipster here. So, I mean, we can go with that. This week's anime is Erased. I mean, or Boku Dake ga Inai Machi. This anime has 12 episodes and literally ended yesterday. So, let's just jump the gun and get the ball rolling, people. Like usual, I'll only be explaining the most important parts of this anime, like the character, story, settings, relations, voice acting, animation, music, and the genre. And we always start with the genre here. It's somewhat of a fantasy, mystery, thriller anime, and with the mystery in there, it better be good, because I have a very high standards for mystery anime, because I love the mystery genre in anime, because sometimes they can just do it so creatively. It better be good. Now for the setting. The anime is based in Japan, like most anime are that I usually review. But the big thing is that the time this anime goes on changes every once in a while. Sometimes they're in 2006, sometimes they're in 1988. You'll understand that later on. Now for the characters, we are going to talk about 4 characters today. Some people will argue that there are many more characters that are very major to the story or connect the story or cause things in the story to be able to be big enough for them to be main characters, but I would argue that they weren't too important. I mean, come on, and I gotta still leave some people out to avoid spoilers at best. First is Satoru Fujinuma, an adult living as an amateur manga artist and being a pizza delivery guy as his side job. His life is pretty lackluster, but when he was younger he was caught up in a big incident that all the adults tried to help him forget because the trauma would have gotten and made him crazy. He's an overly optimistic guy, but is always thinking about the next move. He has a habit of accidentally speaking his thoughts out loud, but is rather sincere, so this isn't really a big problem. He has a special skill that's unexplainable and is never really fully explained. Satoru calls it revival, where if an incident occurs where it usually involves someone dying, time will reset a bit before the incident, and it'll keep happening until Satoru would correct the incident or save the person, sometimes leading in everyone being safe, sometimes ending in him being injured. I mean, give and take. Second is Kaio Hinazuki, a child who is in the same elementary school as Satoru, who disappears and died when they were young, and Satoru still thinks it was his fault and he could have done something. Well, is what he thinks. She's very timid and tries to avoid people and doesn't make many friends. Third is Airi Katagiri. She's truly the definition of overly optimistic. She's a high schooler who works at the same pizza place that Satoru does. She's a happy-go-lucky girl, as any healthy high school girl should be, and makes friends easily, but is kinda naive. She's earnest, though, and always believes in people. Fourth is Sachiko Fujinuma. She's Satoru's mom, who's been raising him since he was little by herself, as her husband and Satoru's father left them. She's very caring about Satoru and literally only thinks about him and his safety. She is as kind as any mom should be, not just to Satoru, but to his friends and others as well. Satoru calls her yokai, which means demon in Japanese, as she's really good at telling what people are thinking and can basically read minds as he thinks of it and can tell what people are going to do. This really only relates to Satoru though, as she mostly only predicts his actions, which just proves how much of a caring mother and a attentive mother she is. Now for the story. So disclaimer, since this is a mystery anime, explaining anything related to the story would have some sort of spoiler to the series, so I highly recommend you just go watch the series and come back, or just watch episode 1 and then come back if you're still unsure, because I feel like the first episode of this anime must be watched blind without any spoilers to it at all, so the experience is just pure because it's just amazing. If you want to skip this section, you can go straight to animations over here, and I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, we're gonna move on. So let's continue. Satoru goes to work and ends up in a situation because of revival and ends up in the hospital. His mom comes to him in the hospital and decides that she's going to stay with him for a few days as he heals and cooks for him and everything. One day, Satoru and his mom have a conversation about how if he remembers anything of his past, and after thinking hard enough, he remembers 3 kids who lived in the area he lived in when he was little who were murdered. One being a friend of his, one being a student from another school, and one being Kaio. He then remembers that the person who was guilty of the murder was a friend of his, Yuki. He still thinks to this day that Yuki was not the murderer and it was impossible for him to be. His mom also thought the same. Satoru's mom was digging a bit into the subject at Satoru's house, and during the whole thing, someone enters the house and kills her. Satoru comes home to see his mom dead, and the police start showing up after he finds her, as he's running from the cops since he is now the prime suspect. A revival activates. But this one is much odder than the other ones he's had before. Once it happens, he opens his eyes and sees his childhood friends, and they tell him that they need to rush to school or else they'll be late. Satoru, not understanding the situation, follows them, and they end up at the elementary school he attended in 1988. He now realizes that the only way to save his mom in the future is to save his friends from the past. Pretty damn intense. Now for the animations. The animation style is as if the whole damn series was an anime movie. I felt like I was watching an anime movie every single week, and it felt so good. It was so high quality that it was terrifying. Now for the voice actors. Memorable as hell. I'm literally going to hunt down other characters these voice actors play in other anime because I love them so much as these characters. They did such an amazing job and fit who they played so well that it exceeded my expectations far more than any anime has for a long time. Now for the music. The fucking opening is by Asian Kung Fu Generation. They are amazing, so you know it's gonna be good. Riri is one of the best songs I've heard in a long time. And it's not just the opening theme that's amazing. The ending theme by Sayuri, whose song title is way too long for me to even try to pronounce, is just amazing. I've been listening to that song on repeat for a while, and it's crazy. The series also has some of the best soundtrack songs I've heard in a long time, and that's pretty amazing for background music. Now for the rating part of these reviews. As a rating, I will split up into 5 different categories: the voice acting, animations, story, characters, and overall enjoyability. And we always start with the voice acting here. 20 out of 20. The voice actors were amazing. Satoru's voice actor is actually a bigger actor than he is a voice actor, but he still did an amazing job. And Kaio's voice actor also did Komachi from Oregairu, and a lot more characters from other anime, which is amazing. Even the side characters had great voice actors. Satoru's best friend Kenya had such a great voice actor that I don't think I'll forget his voice actor for a while. Animations, 20 out of 20. I feel like Erased has ruined movies for me, because I feel like I will always expect them to be at Erased's level, even though it's not even a movie. The animations are just that good quality that I feel like I'm watching an anime movie every single week. And I don't even like movies that much, but it's crazy how much I liked it. Story, 20 out of 20. I'll say right now that the ending for the manga and the anime are the same, but how they arrive to that ending is different. Both the anime and the manga are similar until late in both medias where they split off. And I believe that this was the best way to make the story shine as bright as possible. Erase story is something that is more than just completely just save the girl like most people would think. It's a journey about saving everyone. His mom, his friends, Kaio, Yuki. All of them were planned to be saved by him right from the start, and he wasn't gonna settle for anything less. And for a mystery anime, where things sometimes get predictable, the story is surprisingly not. There are times where you can predict things very easily, but I found myself being outplayed by the series writers time and time again, and I thought I was good at determining endings for anime. The one thing people will complain about is that revival is never really explained or like explored. But I don't really care, honestly. The idea of a plot point that's ridiculous is that it doesn't need to be explained. I don't think Revival needs an explanation because it played its part perfectly, and I don't think exploring it anymore would be very important to the story itself. Characters 20 out of 20. All these characters are amazingly likable and relatable in one way or another. Wanting to save your mother, being awkward around new people, wanting to help your friends, being too shy to tell the truth, clinging to the little sanity you have, trying to have courage. These are all characteristics anyone can relate to at one point in their life. These characters really suck you in, and I'm glad they do because they really make this anime shine, and you don't really see the characters really making the anime anymore. Enjoyability 20 out of 20. Who would have thought that they would have had a different way of reaching the same conclusion the manga did? And may I say that I think the conclusion they ended up at for the anime was superb. A lot of people got impatient when watching the anime because they knew the manga was already out and they can just read ahead, which is something I usually do to prepare for my script before the anime is over. So once the anime's last episode is out, I do finishing touches, edit the script, and then record. But for Erased, I couldn't do that after I watched the second last episode because that's where I realized that it was taking a different turn than the manga did. So it made me have to realize that I can't just do this now for this anime because I had to split it off, which made me think like really crazy. I was like, oh shit, what's actually gonna happen then, you know? It's that feeling that really gets you into it. It's a great way to get people on their feet and enjoy it thoroughly. Overall score, 100 out of 100, 100%. No other anime this year will be able to match up to how I feel about Erased. If it does, and you can stamp this or whatever, or copy this, download this video, I will print out a photo of TK from Digimon, the O2 one with the gay hat, and I will eat it. If there's another anime this year that is just as good as Erased, to me, I am very critical. But there might be, after looking at a lot of the anime like lists, I don't think there will be. But if there is, I will eat a picture of TK on camera. I swear to it. A perfect grade for this anime. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the description, there should be a link to watch it on Crunchyroll if you have a paid subscription. I think last week's episode, or the last few episodes, are free right now. I don't know how the system works fully yet. I'm still trying to learn because I have premium, so I don't really have to deal with that. So like I said a second ago, if you have Crunchyroll subscription, all of it's to you. So I mean, it's only $8 a month. It's pretty worth it, honestly. Thank you guys for watching. It's gotta be FNB out. See you guys next time.